Hi, welcome back to English 111 Online. This week we're going to introduce the next two core projects. Core Project 3 is an annotated works cited, and Core Project 4 is a research paper that you're going to be doing, and they are tied together. So the annotated works cited page would be the same page you're going to use for your essay that you're going to write for Core Project 4. So even though I'm presenting them together, you don't have to do all of it right now. I'm going to tell you step by step what you need to be doing. Okay, so this week, view my video, which is what you're doing. View the short video on global goals. That is down here under this week's resources. It's a little YouTube video narrated by Malala, and she explains why we need these United Nations global goals, why they're important, and gives you a little introduction to the global goals, because this is what you're going to base your research paper on, one of these 17 United Nations global goals. Then I want you to look at the problem solution persuasive essay document. This is Core Project 4. So when you open that up, you will see you're going to have 5 to 6 primary or secondary sources for this paper. A primary source is the actual document that you are writing about, somebody's original research, or for instance, when you were doing the essay, the rhetorical analysis essay, it was the article in the book that you were writing about. That is a primary source. A secondary source is when anyone writes about something. So, for instance, if you go and look at something on the Global Goals website, and it leads you to like the United Nations actual document where the global goals are cited, that would be a primary source. But a secondary source would be something you would read on the web page about the global goals. So it doesn't really matter, but you'll be getting 5 to 6 research sources for this paper. So the reason I'm introducing the annotated works cited page this week as well as this is so that you can be that you'll see that for the annotated works cited, you'll be putting your sources in as you find them in the sources that you're going to use for your paper. This will be a 5+ page paper. Don't worry about it being so long. Once I tell you all the parts that need to go into the paper, you'll have enough pages if you put all the details in that I'm going to ask you for. Okay, so for this project, you will explore the 17 global goals to find a goal that you're interested in. Read as much as you can about the goal of your choice, and in your explanation, you will see that there are problems that need to be solved in order to meet the goal that has been set for 2030. Discover solutions for the problem that will lead you to meeting the goal for 2030. So this is the whole basis of what we're looking to answer and find answers for. Choose a problem from the Global Goals website now. These are live links, so you can just click right on them in the in this document itself, and it'll take you to the Sustainable Development Goals page. So 17 goals to transform our world. Read. That's what research is all about, reading and finding information. So read about this, and then scroll down and find out. They'll list the sustainable development goals over here, and you're going to choose one of these. So you have to kind of look through these and decide which one you want to use. For instance, if I wanted to use the one here on, let's see which one it was that I made a little sample essay for you. I didn't have everything in it, but it was on gender equality, kind of like the introduction to Lean In that we looked at. So if I click on that, then it tells me here, achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. That's the goal. The underlying problem is, of course, that there is not equality. Gender inequality is the problem. The goal is to have gender equality. And there are different things that this website will offer you. For example, the first tab here says facts and figures. This would be a great place to get an amazing fact that you could put as an attention getter in your essay that you're going to write. So there are globally, women are just 13% of the agricultural landholders in the whole world. So that was a pretty amazing fact. I might want to put that in to get your attention. And then I'm going to, of course, go on and explain to you why this is a problem, that these women don't have possession of land. And I'm going to write about some things that we could do about it. Another tab here is about the targets. The targets are the individual pieces of this that that the United Nations wants to solve in order to get have the goal met. And so look at this one, 5.3, eliminate all harmful practices such as child, early and forced marriage, and female genital mutilation. Well, maybe I want to use that as the basis for my research. I want to find solutions to this. And so when I have my thesis statement, my claim, I'm going to claim that this should be eliminated by doing some solutions. And that'll be your duty, your job, your assignment to research and find out what are some things we can do about it. So this essay is basically a problem solution. The problem is inequality. The solution would be that we want to get rid of these things that I just mentioned here in 5.3, and then I want to find some solutions for those problems. What are people doing about it? How are they going about trying to eliminate it? What's going on in the world to help this problem? So then that's when you are going to look. There are links here to other places that you can go and look for information about the goal that you choose. But the main thing I want you to do this week is just to look and explore which goal you're going to choose. So there's a journal to do this week where you are going to commit to one of these goals. So choose a global goal, click on the global goal of your choice, and begin reading and discovering and researching about problems and solutions. And then you can follow the links provided on that page, just as I did a while ago when I was showing you. And then you can also look outside of that website, but use that website because it's very good to get you started. Then here are the things that you're looking for when you're researching. What are the global goals? Define them, explain them for your reader, because your reader is not going to necessarily know anything about the 17 global goals of the United Nations. You probably don't even know much about them until you start doing this research and finding out. So we're going to put that in the paper. What's the particular goal that you're exploring? Of course, we're going to put that in the paper. You're going to define it and explain it. Why is it important? What are some facts and figures that are interesting about your goal? You're going to do a background paragraph that tells you some things about the particular goal that you're exploring in the paper. What are the targets for your goal? Those targets that I showed you, like what do we need to do to solve this, to meet this goal? What problems do we need to address to meet the goal? Why does it matter? There's a PDF for each goal on the Global Goals website, so you can look and find those. What are some specific solutions that people and organizations are working on to meet the goal? What are some obstacles to meeting the goals? And how can those obstacles be overcome? All of these things are things that we are going to be exploring and finding the answers to write it all up in this research paper. There's some other places that you can look, NC Live, and here are the directions for how to use NC Live. There's an NC Live tutorial, which I didn't find particularly helpful, but I think if you go to NC Live and try to navigate it, just read the instructions on it, you'll be able to use that to find some sources that you can use in your paper. Another one, the links provided on the Global Goals website. They have news stories. They have all kinds of things that you can link to investigate. And then there's this other globalissues.org, which I find has current news stories that may be something related to your global goal, and you can also use that. So these are just some sources that you can check out, and of course if you find another valid source to use, then by all means do that. Take notes as you go, and this is why I want you to work on your MLA Works Cited page as you go, and then we're going to add notations to it, which is what an annotated works cite is. Here is the basic template for those. You're going to look for an author's name, last name, first name, the name of the article in quotation marks, the name of the website in italics, the date of publication, and the URL, which you find up here in your browser. And then you're going to put the date that it's accessed 9 October 2018, or accessed 10 July 2019, there, because these web sources often it will change. Something will be different from the time that you looked at it and the time that I might look at it. So that's why we put that access date on there. You want to establish a claim that has 3 solutions for the problem. For example, the problem of gender equality should be alleviated by providing women and girls with equal access to education and health care, putting into place laws regarding female equality in the workplace, and getting rid of harmful practices targeted at women in many countries around the world. That would be my claim, my thesis statement. You're going to find 5 sources that provide evidence for your claim. You're going to establish ethos, pathos, and logos. We'll talk more about that next week. And you're going to report opinions that may not support your global goal, but that you can have something to say back to that. That's going to be your refutation and of the opposition. And then here are some other sources that you might use. Usually legitimate news sources vet their sources pretty well and don't put things on there that have not been checked out. Christian Science Monitor is an independent source. ABC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, C-SPAN, PBS, Time News magazine has an online website, U.S. News and World Report, and then of course your NC Live that I had mentioned before. So anything that is a reliable source. Now this is where we come into what can you use for a reliable source. Well, it's going to be something that will pass what we call the CRAAP test, C-R-A-A-P, and I'm going to go over that in just a moment. Here is the suggested organization. You'll have a more detailed outline later that I will require you to fill out for this, and it will help you with your writing your rough draft. Okay, so what else do we need to do this week? This is, we looked at both of those. The annotated works cited slideshow, that tells you what an annotated works cited is. I'll mention this again next week and give you more detail on that. I particularly would like for you to look at one of these this week. I have a PDF form and I have a Word form, a Microsoft Office Word form. It's coming up. And you can see what I'm talking about, CRAAP, the CRAP test. It's when you're finding these sources, you need to find something that's current, you need to find something that's relevant, that has authority, that is accurate, and that has a purpose that helps you in your research paper. And so this, you can actually give it a score down here. The other one, that the word one, this is actually something that you can make a copy of and write on if you want to. But it's the same thing: currency, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose. And so all of your sources need to pass this CRAP test. And that's why I put them on here. Keep up with this information, because you're going to use this information that you have here to write your annotated works cited page. Here's another link to that globalissues.org that was in the document that we looked at. Here's another website, United Nations Development Program, that has some links for information about your chosen global goal that you may want to use. And here is the actual annotated works cited assignment, so you can go ahead and look at that. It's not due right away. You don't have to do it right away, but it pretty much tells you what you need to do, what it would look like, and what you need to do for this assignment. You have to make sure it's a good source and all of that. So basically, in the annotated works cited page, you're just going to use your works cited page that you're creating for your essay, and you're going to add a little summary of what the article that you used is all about, and then how you know it's a good, reliable source. So not a great deal of work. Most of your work is going to come from finding the sources and making sure they're reliable sources, and then and keeping up with the information so that you can do that Core Project 3. Core Project 3 counts 20% of your total course grade, and Core Project 4 counts 20% of your course grade. So this is really important. Together, 40% of your grade is going to come from this research that you're doing, and this research paper that you're writing, and this annotated works cited page that you're keeping up with. So for this week, all you need to do is, besides read all this stuff, understand all this stuff, and start finding your information for this essay, is to complete this journal here. The journal, this counts as a course grade, is asking which global goal are you choosing, and a short summary of the global issue, and why the goal to make it better is important. And you're going to use information that this information that you are finding, you're going to use in your introduction and background paragraph. And I forgot to put in here, I put it up here in the title, Impossible Solutions, but I'll add that right here, possible solutions. You need 3 of those possible solutions for this, and I have an example that I will show you when you actually start to write in your paper. I don't want to give you too much stuff to have to look at right now. I want you to research right now. Here's the main thing that I want you to do, is I want you to research. So this week is going to be starting your research, getting ready to start putting this paper together. You cannot wait on this. You've got to do it. Next week we'll add even more to it for you to do. And so start exploring and find information for this journal. Also continue to work on your inquisitive assignments as you get to them. Do not become overwhelmed. Do this step by step and you should be fine. If you need help from me in any way, please contact me and I'll be glad to help you. And I'll see you next time.